Before we get into the legal implications, we need to break down this migration issue, because it's been tossed around a lot lately, and most people don't know what actually happens behind the scenes. So tonight, we're bringing in someone who does, to help us understand what a Cerner to Epic migration really is, and why experts say it's one of the riskiest moments for medical records. We're joined by Evan Rourke, a 20-year veteran of electronic health records, or EHR migrations. The software currently used by Cox Branson is Cerner, and they are moving everything over, or migrating everything over, to Epic. Evan here is a former Cerner implementation lead and consultant on Epic conversions nationwide. Evan, the motion filed today says that the first few weeks of the migration window is the moment of highest risk. For people who've never seen one from the inside, what actually happens?
All right, let's break this down in a way that makes sense for everyone listening. Imagine you're told to move an entire city, not the people, but the buildings themselves. Every house, every school, every hospital, every brick. Now imagine you have to lift each building off its foundation, carry it across town, and set it down perfectly on a new foundation. And you're told, don't lose a single brick. That's what a Cerner to Epic migration is. Every medical record is a building. Every timestamp, every audit trail, every medication entry. Those are the bricks. And here's the truth. When you lift a building, bricks fall. Some crack, some crumble. And once a brick crumbles, you can't glue it back together and pretend it's the same brick. That's metadata. That's version history. That's the audit trail that once it's gone, it's gone.
And here's why that matters in healthcare terms. Those bricks, the timestamps, the edits, the who did what when, they tell the story of the patient's care. They show whether a note was added later, whether a medication order was changed, whether something was charted after the fact. If those pieces crumble during the move, you don't just lose data, you lose the truth of what happened.
In legal terms, what the plaintiff is really after is the chain of custody of the medical record. Chain of custody means who accessed the record, what they changed, when they changed it, why it was changed, and whether the record you're looking at today is the same record that existed at the time of care. If you lose the audit trail, you lose the chain of custody. And if you lose the chain of custody, you lose the ability to prove whether the record was altered.
Jurors don't need a medical degree to get this. If you show them 3 different versions of the same record, and all 3 existed before any migration, they're going to ask the same question. Why are there 3? And if the hospital then performs a massive migration that could wipe out the who did what when, jurors are going to see that as convenient. Even if it's accidental, it looks like the perfect storm for losing the very evidence the plaintiff says proves her case.
Exactly. The 3 conflicting records didn't happen during migration. They existed before the migration even started. That means the discrepancies can't be blamed on the move. But here's the danger. The migration could erase the digital fingerprints that show who created those discrepancies. If the audit trail gets flattened or metadata drops during the move, you're left with a clean-looking record, but no way to see the edits, the timing, or the authorship. It's like someone handing you a rebuilt building with all new bricks and saying, see? Nothing wrong here.
And that's exactly what the plaintiff is afraid of, that the migration could accidentally wipe out the evidence of what happened before the migration. Evan, thank you for calling in and chatting with us today. The way you explain things helps us all understand the process better.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.